Hello and welcome along to this video where I'm going to be talking to you today about Microsoft Forms, but also how we can tie in Power Automate and SharePoint List to give Forms that bit of advancedness and a little bit extra that it needs to kickstart what we want to do here. So I was asked recently, is there a way of sending alerts, reminders to people who haven't submitted a form that's been shared with them yet? And currently, Forms doesn't have that functionality. It just doesn't exist. So there's no way of doing it through Forms. There is something on the user voice for Microsoft Forms. So it's by all means, go and find that user voice and give it a little vote, because then it gives Microsoft that extra push to put that functionality into their software. But after I saw this request of asking for help and how they could do this, my mind got thinking, as it does. I was pondering something, scratching my head, thinking, surely there's some way of doing this. And we've got our little nifty friend here, Power Automate, that can offer us that capability to send these reminders using a SharePoint list and Microsoft Forms to share that. So it might be that we're sharing a survey, a questionnaire, or something to people across our organization, or to students in our school, or to staff at a school, or wherever it may be in our institution, college, university, whatever it may be. But it might be that we're sending this out and we're only getting maybe 50% of the people answering it. And rather than having to chase individually or to send it again to everyone we want to send it to, or share it again, or post it where we want to post it, what we can actually do, we can create a SharePoint list and we can input the users that we want to complete this form. And then they can, when we share it and they submit the form, their name gets knocked off this SharePoint list, and then an email is sent out to the remaining people on the list. So let's go now have a look at this and how it might work. I thought it'd be useful for you to see how this works. You can see here we have got a SharePoint list with a few names on here of people. But what I'm going to do, I want to make sure that when I do share this, the people I'm sharing it with are going to get that reminder. So I'm going to go to my new button here in my SharePoint list, and I'm going to put in a user's name. As you can see, it contacts my Office 365 database of users, select that person's name and hit save. They then are now on my list. So I can see here, these are the people that I'm going to give that share link to, and they're the people I'm going to want to complete the list. So here we are logged in as a user, and they have completed a form that we have shared with them. You can see we've got their results in here, and what we're going to do, we're going to go down to the bottom and put all their results in. We're going to hit submit, and then there we go, our response has now been sent. If we dive back into our SharePoint list, I can see here that S. Rocha doesn't show up in my list now. That name has gone, it's deleted the person out of my list. And then what the next step is going to be, an email is going to be sent to the remaining people on this list to remind them to fill out that survey. Obviously, this is a test purpose, so it might be a case that we'd probably not have that email sent out straight away every time someone completes this, but I'll show you the flow that I've done and how you might adapt it to suit your needs. So here we go. Here, me as a user, as being on that list, I've been sent a reminder email telling me that I need to access this digital skills survey, and I've put a nice little web link into my email so it's easy for that person to click onto rather than having to go back through things and find that piece of information. So let's jump over to the actual Power Automate here and see what actually happens behind the scenes for this process to work. So the first option we've got is the trigger is when a new submission happens in our digital skills survey. The next step, it's going to get the responses of that digital skills survey, and then the next step is for it to get to the actual items from our SharePoint list. Now if we expand the next section in our apply to each, it's working out that it's looking for our values from our SharePoint list, and it's pulled out that user email for the user we've added in, is going to equal to the respondent's email. So the person that has submitted this form. So if their email address is in that SharePoint list, then our next step is to delete that item out of the list, because we want it to clear out that list and the people only on that SharePoint list are the ones that haven't submitted the survey. The next step, I put in a little delay here. So it might be you leave it all in this one place and you want those reminders sent out every time someone does an entry on one of these forms. But most likely you'll create another flow in Power Automate here that will trigger this next stage we're going to go through. But because it's a test purpose and I just wanted to show you what happens instantly, I've just put this little delay in here. So the next stage of our Power Automate is that it's going to get the updated list. So after it's deleted the people out of that list, it's going to get an updated version of that list. And then what it's going to do, it's going to pull out the values, and anyone that's in that list, it's going to do an email to them with our subject header. And because this is a person in our SharePoint list, it's bringing out their display name. We've put a nice little message in here with a web link to that skills survey. So as you can see, this can become really powerful in how it works with sending people those nice friendly little nudges, those little reminders to tell them, hey, come on, you haven't filled this form out yet. I really need you to fill it out. Some of the joys I like about Power Automate is that it transforms how forms work. Forms is a great tool, quite powerful, can pull out good information and can be used for a lot of paperless processes. But once you introduce Power Automate and create these flows, it makes forms that little bit more advanced. And once we add in SharePoint, then again, brilliant stuff. We can really get some good information here and really transform how forms is used. If you do have any questions about this process, please do get in contact. Happy to help, happy to offer advice and answer any questions that you do have. I will be doing some more videos around this and we'll be doing some videos on Power Automate and forms, because I just think there's so much potential here and not a lot of people know about it. So please do stay tuned for more videos. And thank you very much for joining me on this video. And hopefully you'll tune in and see some more soon. Thank you.